Hi friends, Diana here from Garden Love. Today we're not going to have the usual content of gardening, but I do want to share this beautiful wagon that's been sitting on my property since we purchased the property. Unfortunately, it's been sitting there for so long that the tree is growing around the wheel. So I noticed that my neighbor behind us was moving a mobile home that was on their property when they purchased it. And I realized that, if these people can move the mobile home, I'm pretty sure they can help me move this wagon. My dream was to get this wagon to the bottom of the hill. So hopefully we could have restored it the top layer so I can use it as a platform to put my seedlings, to put my fruit trees, possibly to do videos for you guys while I'm showing you guys maybe some videos about the fruit that I am harvesting and a tasting videos. I was so excited about potentially use this wagon at the bottom of the hill where we are standing at now and use it for videos and just like a platform that helps me put things that I'm working on. I figured if they can move a 60-foot long house from a place that almost seemed impossible to get it out of, I figured they can move this little wagon. They did need to cut a little bit of the tree to remove and release the wheel from it, since the tree had already embraced the wagon and grew around it. And thankfully, he was able to cut it loose. He was able to move it back and forth just a teeny bit. However, I was not anticipating how brittle the wood that this wagon was made with was by this point. I mean, we've been living here for 5 years, and I'm sure this wagon has been here for a long time. And as far as I'm concerned, the last two owners said that this wagon has been here since they purchased the property. I do have the contact information of the person who actually built this home, the home on this property, and I'm curious to know if he had it here or he moved it here, which I can do a separate video with an update. Now that I'm speaking to you guys, I'm realizing that I can contact him to get more information. Now, I can only imagine how expensive it will be to restore this, but it is my dream to do so. And at the very minimal, I would love to just get some information and know where we stand as far as the cost to restore it, if it's even possible. My husband and I have talked about video recording everything so we know exactly where everything goes and try to restore it ourselves, but that just seems like a really hard task to do, very time consuming. And this is why I wanted to make this video. I know the power of social media, and I want to know if any of you guys have any information on who can restore it, how much it would cost to restore it, and is it even worth doing it? I'm sure there's plenty of places that I can purchase an old wagon, maybe even Facebook Marketplace, and just get another vintage piece that's not as damaged as this one. This one has actually been worn down by the weather. It had no protection. I was speaking to the guy who was helping me here, and he brought up a good point that this looks like the original work. Like, seriously, like, he's like, they never used to treat the wood, so this wood looks like, they just cut it up, put it together, and there you have a wagon. So this wood is probably not treated, which would make sense, but even if it wasn't treated, it has held up for a long time. I'm actually pretty impressed. Obviously, the metal parts are still intact. They're a little rusty, but those seem to never get any damage. It's just the wood part that needs to be replaced. The craftsmanship of this is pretty impressive. I mean, we used to be able to do so much with so little, and that just blows my mind on how amazing we are in being resourceful. Honestly, I don't think people need to be too smart as long as you're resourceful. That's one of the things that I try to instill into my daughters. I'm like, if you are resourceful, you can get so much done. You can do so much by just being resourceful. You don't have to be the smartest person. You just have to know how to use the tools and the resources that are available to you. Honestly, I feel like this was the point where they realized that it wasn't going to work out and we weren't going to be able to get this wagon to the bottom of the hill where I originally had suggested we move it. Some of the wood started to break because it was so brittle from it sitting outside, and we've had rain. I mean, we've had frost. We even had snow one year. And so I'm pretty sure that all took a tear and a toll on all the wood. And this is the point where he realized that the axle, the wood that's considered the axle, started to fall apart, and he wasn't going to be able to move it. He did reach out and told me that, I don't want to move it any further. I'm afraid that it's going to completely fall apart. And now you're going to have, he's like, at least at this point, it still looks like it's a wagon. If it breaks apart, it's just going to look like scraps. And he suggested that it's better that we preserve what we have. He made such a big effort to put something under the axle to release some pressure from it, because the wheel was kind of like bowing a little bit and it didn't look right. So he did make an effort to make it look a little better. But the good thing is that he was able to release the wheel from the tree, which means that the tree can continue to grow and stop growing around the wagon. And in the future, if we find someone who can actually help us restore it or move it, it won't be attached to the tree. And I'm pretty sure that, I mean, these trees grow super fast. This is an oak tree, and if we continue to allow it to grow, it was only going to be a matter of time before the full trunk was going to be around this wheel. I am so grateful for them trying. I'm so grateful that they were able to remove it from the tree, and that they even try to fix the axle a little bit so it can stay in place for however much longer we're gonna have it there for. I'm curious to know if any of you guys have any of these wagons on your property. I actually have multiple vintage pieces on my property, and if you guys want me to do a video showing you all the pieces, I don't know what all of them are for, but they are gorgeous. I love having them on my property, and I just love it. So if you guys have any pieces, I would love to hear from you. Tell me what you have and how you're using it on your property. Even if you have any details like how old it is, I would love to know that. If you made it this far, I just want to thank you for your constant support. Thank you for watching our attempt of moving this wagon and hearing a little bit of feedback. These people were amazing. I'm going to put their information down below in case you ever want to move something big like a house, a shed, or anything. If you're in Southern California, I am sure they'll be willing to help you. And I'll put the information down below. And I always appreciate all the feedback that you guys give me, so please leave some comments down below. What are your thoughts? Do you think it's worth restoring it? Do you think I should move it? Do you think I should just look for another one on Facebook Marketplace? I want to hear everything you have to say, all your thoughts. And once again, I want to thank you for always supporting me, always watching my videos, always commenting, even if it has nothing to do with gardening. But I do want to point out really quick, you see that tree on the right? When we moved into this property, that tree was not producing, and this is the first year that it produced, and I am so excited to share with you guys what I did to make it produce, because it did need some work, and I did take a big risk doing what I did with the tree, because it had a big sucker that had grown as big as a tree. So basically it had two ginormous trees, and I took a risk. I believe that I took the right piece off the tree, the sucker, instead of what they had grafted, and it paid off because I have lemons now. I'm so excited to have lemon. This tree was double the size, but I took a whole big limb out. I took a risk, and the tree is producing lemons now. I saw it yesterday while I was recording this, and there's so many little buds, so many new leaves. I am so excited because this tree is going to be giving me so much fruit, and I'm going to be able to share with family and friends. And I should do a completely separate video talking about what I did to help it produce. You guys know that I have a whole process of elimination on how to go about things that aren't doing well in order to get them to do well and start producing. And I realized when I looked at this tree that it had a ginormous sucker. The people who had the property before us, whoever planted it, must have not been familiar with suckers and to remove them, because they will suck the energy out of the tree that you're trying to grow. And like I said, we'll talk all about it later
So
on.
the wheel
I
used
hope
to
you
be
guys have a blessed day.
right there.
So I'm just going to give you one last view of what it looks like close up now that it's been moved, and you can see what's breaking. You can see the axle. It's falling apart. There was even some large screws that fell as he was moving it. So just the wood just broke apart. So please, any advice, anything that you have to say in regards to this topic, I would love to see it down below. I hope you like and follow, and see you in the next one. You have a blessed day. Bye.